Did you know that many soldiers chose to be there, or that a surprising number were well educated? Watch till the end for unforeseen events, brave soldiers, and the big decisions that shaped Vietnam's story. Number 10. In 1968, there were lots of American soldiers. In Vietnam, around 549,000. But if we look at the whole war, almost 9 million Americans took turns serving, like many people who went there to help or had to be there. Number 9. A surprising look at education and families. Back during the Vietnam War, people might think that the draft, which is like picking people to go to war, was not fair to those who didn't have a lot of money or didn't go to college. But here's the thing, the soldiers who went to Vietnam were pretty educated, most of them finishing high school, even though more affluent families could find ways to avoid the draft, like sending their kids to college. The draft itself was random. Surprisingly, 76% of the soldiers who went to Vietnam were from regular working-class families. Number 8. Many lives lost in the Vietnam War. A lot of soldiers and people involved in the Vietnam War didn't make it back home, around 1.3 million of them. Sadly, an extra 1 million civilians who were not part of the fighting also lost their lives. Number 7. The big surprise in Vietnam. In 1968, something unexpected happened in Vietnam called the Tet Offensive. The North attacked over 100 places all in one day, surprising the American and South Vietnam forces. But even though they did a lot, the North didn't win. They lost around 45,000 people and damaged their military power. Number 6. How soldiers were chosen. Another interesting fact about the Vietnam War is that only a small group of soldiers, about a quarter, were chosen to serve through a process called the draft. Most brave people who fought in the war decided to be there, or were already part of the armed forces. But here's something even more surprising. Although not many were picked through the draft, a higher percentage of those who were drafted sadly lost their lives compared to the volunteers. Number 5. Nixon's Big Decision. In 1970, Richard Nixon, the leader of the United States, made an extensive choice. He said it was okay to bomb and go into other countries near Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. But many people in the United States didn't like this decision and started protesting a lot. It was a time when many people were upset and wanted things to change. Number 4. The fear of communism. The main reason the West joined the Vietnam War was to stop communism from spreading. They worried that if Vietnam became communist, nearby countries like Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia might also turn communist. Some people think this fear was too much. Even leaders like John F. Kennedy wanted to be cautious and not get too involved due to concerns about communism. Number 3. Soldiers' Tough Time and Agent Orange. Coming back from the war was hard for the soldiers. Almost 300,000 of them had problems because of what they experienced. One big reason was a chemical called Agent Orange, which made people sick and even caused problems for their children. Even now, in Vietnam, people still feel the effects of this chemical. Number 2. Vietnam's story. A long time ago, France was in charge of Vietnam, but later on, Vietnam wanted to be on its own. After some fights, they got a bit of freedom in the northern part, led by President Ho Chi Minh. But things got complicated, and a big war called the Vietnam War started with secret plans from both sides. Number 1. President Kennedy's plan and a change in Vietnam. President John F. Kennedy said he didn't want a long fight in Vietnam and wanted to leave by 1965. But something sad happened. He was assassinated in 1963. After that, the new leaders changed the plan, and the idea of leaving Vietnam by 1965 had to be put aside. So that's all for today's video. If you like this video, click the like and the bell buttons. We'll have another video for you soon. Take care until then.